All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back once again to Blame Your Brother. This is episode 193. We are streaming live at blameyourbrother.tv, which we do every Thursday night, 8 p.m. So come hang out with us. Do that. It's easy to do. Just go to blameyourbrother.tv, 8 p.m. Thursday nights. And we are Blame Your Brother. There are three of us that come to you every week. I am one third of that trio. I am David, a.k.a. D. Brew, voice of the people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, the spiritual midget, the dictator, the forgotten one. And I am joined by this gentleman in the glasses and hat and neckerchief or whatever you call that. So our brother, it's Lee.
I am the neckerchief, thus bastard son of Ron Jeremy, and of course the one and only LeBron safety pin.
And then we have this gentleman who sits over here to the right of me. It's our friend John.
John here, a.k.a. Tico. I can't even say my own name. The bee, the butterfly. Mr. PTI, the madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right, there you go. David Lee John, Blame Your Brother. We got a lot to talk about. We've got sport, movie, Mount Rushmore. We're coming strong with it tonight. We're giving our definitive picks on who makes the Mount Rushmore of sport movies. Can't wait to delve into that. That should be fun. And, of course, crazy things are happening across the country. But before we jump into all that, we always start the show off with a chance for us to apologize, to make retractions, omissions, anything we said on last week's show that we thought were over the line and are incorrect. So we'll start with Lee. Is there anything you need to get off your chest for last week?
No.
All right. I thought, John, I'll let you get anything.
Well, we didn't have a Blame Your Brother last week, so that's usually where I insert my mouth. Yeah.
We had a Blame Your Brother.
We had a Blame Your Brother. We did have a Dear John. That's usually when I an open mouth insert foot, but I think I'm in the clear.
Well, I got to say, last week was a bit of a more serious episode, and I got a text. I got a few messages that people genuinely enjoyed it. They thought it was a good episode. It was well thought out, different views about the protests, Black Lives Matter. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and check it out. I thought it was one of our better ones, and this one will probably devolve into madness. But hey, what are you going to do? All right, so let's see here. What is going on in everybody's life? Well, I got to tell you that I have decided to do something that I did years ago, and I'm going to try to do it again. I'm going back to college again, try to get that degree. I'm 5 classes short. Ended up talking to my new advisor, funny guy on the phone, talked to him about 35, 40 minutes, and I'm ready to go. I got to get signed up for the classes. I can do it all online. If I get those 5 classes, I'll get my associate's degree in criminal justice. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. I got to take biology. That's the toughest class. I got to take 2 of those. So I'm not scared of it. It's not like pre-calc. So when I went back initially 5 years ago and took pre-calc, I went, oh, this is never happening, ever, never. I was like, this is the hardest subject. That required a basic understanding of algebra that I did not retain, and so that was bad times. But these seem like pretty easy classes, so hopefully next spring, if everything goes good, you never know in life, but I will have a degree, and I believe I will be the first person in our family with a college degree. Am I off there?
I just want to know why you're going into criminal justice.
Because
are you just in time for the PD?
Yeah, I'm going to get there and defund the police, and I'll be the first. I mean, the reason I'm going is because back when I was 18, 19, I took 60 hours worth of criminal justice classes. So I told the guy, I want the shortest path to getting a degree. I just want a degree. I want it where one day my kids go to college, I can go, yeah, you got to go. I got a degree or whatever. I think it's an accomplishment. I think it's something decent to have. And like I said, first in the family to get one, that's pretty good. I can brag about that. Lee, you didn't get your degree, right?
That's our sister has a
nursing license.
Right.
But that's not a college degree.
I'm pretty sure she
just got her certificate, which only takes 2 years.
I don't know.
Who cares? Anyway, so that's what I'm doing this week. So I've been dealing with that. It's a pretty easy process. So if you're thinking about it, Nashville State's a pretty good place to go, and you got the money, you got the time, I think I'm just kind of looking for something to do, truthfully, to fill up my brain with some knowledge that's not current events or social media.
Pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, and because I was talking to the guy on the phone, I was like, "Oh, you offer music? Tell me a little bit about that." Well, you'll study the Baroque period and classical. I went, "Oh, no, you can stop there." I was like, "I'm out." He goes, "Oh no, it ain't no top 40." I went, "No, I'm good. I'm not taking that then." But yeah, so that's my big thing right now. And then, like I told you guys before we start, looking at possibly getting a new house. So a lot of things are happening this week for me. And on top of that, I've learned that I do not have to go back to work in the physical sense until August. So, woo! Everyone else in my office is going. I don't have to. So I'm like, all right. So it is. I've definitely gotten used to working at home. I enjoy it a lot. I mean, I've never liked bosses standing over me. I don't have that really where I'm at now, but it's just a freedom to it, and you're able to kind of move about the day, still get your work done. So.
You can also get a couple of extra hours to your day because you're not driving to and from work.
Bingo. So I can wake up a little bit later, work a little bit later, but still be able to pick the kids up. So it worked out. So that's my week in a nutshell. Lee, anything happening with you this week?
Nope.
Nothing?
Nothing.
All right. John.
I got my son's, we're having his birthday party on Saturday, and his actual birthday's on Monday, but yeah, there's nothing else going on.
How does that work in the COVID world? Like, I know you sent an invite to us, but like, how many people do you think are going to show up?
Well, I sent out a lot of invites, but the caveat I put on all the invites was if you can't make it, it's understandable if you could just like make a short video and email it to me, and then just wishing Asher is my son's name, wishing Asher a happy birthday. That
I need to do that tomorrow. I keep putting. I'm going to get it done tomorrow and send it to you. So there we go. Well, there we go. That was our week. So, do you want to wait to do the Mount Rushmore? Or should we just go for it right now? Lee looks distant. Lee looks like he doesn't want to be here, obviously. So I don't know.
Whatever you want to do, man.
John, should we do it?
let's dive in.
All right, let's dive in. So we've decided. Well, John decided, not we. John decided that. Right now, there's no sports, really. I mean, there's NASCAR, but that's about it. So you got to get your sports quota through movies, documentaries. Some people are watching like old games. I can't do that. But we decided we're going to pick, we all love sports movies. We're all going to pick our definitive 4 sports movies to put up on the Mount Rushmore. And so we're going to see what happens. Now, there's been a few snafus in the past with the Mount Rushmores, but I feel this one is going to be hard to mess up. That being said, someone's probably going to do it. So, who wants? We really need to be keeping like a list of who goes first, because the first person obviously gets like
Just get
go
the
ahead.
overall
Go
first pick.
first.
who, me?
I
Yeah.
already know what you're gonna pick for your first one.
All right, so I'm going to go first then. But then one also gets to pick last.
All right, John, since it was his idea. We'll
All
let
right,
John
John.
go first.
Here we go. Hold on, I need
Good.
to.
I'm stealing
Give me-
David's
give me,
first one.
Give me a
then.
pen, Lee. Give me a pen. Okay. All right, John. What is
Because his first is probably my first.
Okay, what's your first?
Hoosiers.
All right, Hoosiers is off the board. Okay, why?
Oh, it's the definitive high school basketball movie. I mean,
About a white team beating a black team. Interesting. Okay, so how many brothers are on the Hoosiers team, John?
and
Interesting that you would pick that one. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'll go second then. All right. Well, Hoosiers was on my list. It's one of my favorite sports movies, but
Why? Why is that one on your list?
I mean, honestly, like John said, it's a great movie about the underdog winning, and there's one of the great scenes where they play in this small town of Indiana, and they play in a small gym, and so when they make it to the state, finals, they get to play in this huge gym. It's all decked out, and they walk in, and Gene Hackman's the coach, and he walks in with the players, and their mouths are on the floor, and he goes, "Hey, I need you to come over here and bring me a tape measure," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And he gets up there and he measures.
Yeah.
He goes, 10 feet. How big is our goals? And they go, 10 feet. He goes, exactly. The goals are the same. The floor is the same. Everything's the same. It's just a little bit bigger. It's a great scene, man. Gene Hackman is killer in that movie. Great performance.
I really liked it when he got himself kicked out of the game on purpose
For Dennis Hopper.
for Dennis Hopper's character to kind of bring him up to, force him to be better.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper was a bit of an alcoholic.
A bit.
Yeah, and so
Just a wee bit.
it was a shining moment. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go with one of my favorite movies. It's a little movie that stars Wesley Snipes, Charlie Sheen. It is probably, besides Hoosiers, probably my favorite sports movie. It's called Major League, and it is freaking fantastic. It's so good. Wild Thing, Willie Mays.
The premise is pretty dope too.
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you who've never seen it, the team they're trying to sell the team, but they have to have a losing record to get it. And once the actual players get wind of this scheme, they're like, well, screw this. And they like really start to bust their butts trying to win.
I mean, it's got a cast of characters, man. It's got the old catcher. It's got a dude that's into voodoo who hits home runs. It's fantastic. And then there's sequels, but not as good as the original. Major League, love it. Charlie Sheen when he was cool, man. What Wild Thing? I dressed up as Wild Thing for a Halloween party and won because it's a definitive costume. All you need,
The
jersey,
glasses.
the glasses. That's it. That's all you need, man. So, all right, Lee, you're going Snake. So you got the next two picks.
Okay, so I'm going to start it off with a movie called White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, shoot. That was on my list.
That's two Wesley Snipes in a row.
Two Wesley Snipes in a row. He was, a man of the 80s for sure.
90s.
90s, sorry.
Okay. And then your second pick.
Second pick, I'll go to the top of my list and go with Dodgeball.
All right. Why do you like? I mean, I quote Dodgeball all the time. I mean, I do. I know you don't know that, but I just told my son today. I go, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
I think everyone quotes that from time to time.
What's the other one? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I mean, there's
That's
all
a great
kinds of
quote.
There's all kinds of it. Also, it has a Lance Armstrong cameo in
That's
it,
true.
which is interesting. Lance Armstrong used to be an idol of mine. Of course, he fell upon difficult times. Was basically came out as a huge cheater and liar, and but still, at the time it was cool.
Did you watch the doc about him? They did a 30 for 30 about him.
On Lance Armstrong?
Oh,
I don't think so, but I've watched enough of them.
it just came out on ESPN. It is. I mean, dudes are just being straight up honest. Like, yeah, I lied, I did it, but they were all doping, right? I mean,
it's the Tour de France is a historically dirty sport for sure.
So why did they feel they had to come at this dude? Just because he was the hubris of him, the arrogance.
He's arrogant. Like,
it started when they kicked Floyd Landis out, right?
Well, Floyd Landis was an idiot that also lied and cheated in the Tour de France and won. And
would you have okay? You're doping. Would you have come clean with it? Or would you have lied? If the team
pretty
motto,
much everyone on the team came clean except Lance Armstrong.
Okay.
And then Lance Armstrong came clean.
Yeah.
So 100% of the people did. So, yeah. And I think what the problem was that they had those they had the samples.
Yeah.
And they could go back and test it for the stuff that they were doing, which was basically, taking their own blood and putting the EPO in it and then injecting the blood back. I would say one thing I always tell people, and this is not anywhere, it's not on any 30 for 30. It's just I used to be a huge fan of cycling and watched a bunch of stuff. Lance Armstrong went to a wind tunnel. Like, this dude was like hardcore, whatever it took to win. Obviously, cheat, lie, steal,
Right.
doesn't matter. So, they wear these like slick back helmets and the tight clothes and for aerodynamics. And they're like in like the most expensive wind tunnel in the world. And he's in there on the bike and they're shooting wind at him and they go, "Hey man, you got a radio transmitter in your back. If you would take that transmitter out, you would like make the most impact on your aerodynamic profile." He said, "No. The radio stays no matter what."
Why did the radio have to stay?
This is not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that he had a drug pump on his back injecting drugs
Oh, really?
into his body. Because I watched it before when he was racing, and I remember one race he was like really struggling to ride. He was like in the back, like pouring water, like not going fast. Like, he's used to like winning and having people in front of him. And he kept fiddling with his radio, trying to...
I didn't watch all the doc. I don't know if that was. I kind of came in about a third of the way through. I need to go back and rewatch it because it was. So apparently Floyd, when he got caught, thought he was going to be back on the team when he was clear to come back, and he came back and like, "No, dude, you're crazy. You can't be on this team, dude. Like, you literally tested dirty." And the sponsor was like, "No, dude, come on." So
he didn't get caught till much later.
this was just like the second pass, according to this
Right.
documentary.
So Lance Armstrong retired, and they would like this huge vacuum. Like who's gonna win if Lance
Right.
Armstrong wasn't on the team? So that dude, he was winning every race. Right.
Okay.
First off, the dude had a metal hip. He had landed on his hip and shattered it, and he had gotten permission to use drugs to numb the pain, right, already. So he was already like on approved drugs for
Right.
his hip. But it's crazy that he was like every race he was just like go out and win these huge mountains, right? So the day before the final race, he was queued up to win like by 30 minutes. Worst day of his life. Bottomed out, couldn't barely finish the race.
He lose?
No, he was pretty much going to lose. The only way that he could win was to do something that's never been done before, and that's just break away from the pack and just go. So his story is, and he did. He broke away from the pack, and everyone's sitting there going, "Don't do it, don't do it." He takes a small little Coke, those tiny Coke cans, and drinks it, and just goes and wins the Tour de
Wait,
France.
can you do that?
By himself? Yeah, you can drink Coca-Cola.
Oh.
But the story is he tested for 15 times the normal amount of testosterone in a human. But his story was that he was so depressed he went out drinking the night before and was drinking whiskey, and that was why his testosterone levels were so elevated.
Yeah, because that happens.
Wow.
So he raised $1 million. He had a defense fund. He wrote a book where he denied it. And then years later,
Who
he
is
came
this?
out.
Floyd?
Yeah.
Okay.
He comes out and he's like, "Yeah, I lied about all that. It was obviously."
Here's what I think, though. I mean, Lance Armstrong had cancer. He had just recovered from cancer, right? When he was the first
Well,
time.
that was before he won all the things, though.
I thought he was doing it right after.
No, he had cancer, and he was getting ready to actually retire from the sport. And he had like a religious moment in North Carolina on Sugar Mountain and decided that he was going to get back into it. And that's when he started winning all the races.
So what's your opinion of the man today?
I don't know. It's interesting because you hear like he started a podcast. I remember seeing a podcast. He was like interviewing Syl, which I thought was
It's odd.
odd.
It's an odd combo.
But so they stripped his titles. The thing that they didn't strip, I think, was all the money that he made. So he's still sitting pretty. So,
I mean,
and then
hero or villain?
he had started that Nike, what was it, Live
Yeah, the
Strong, with
yellow-
the yellow
yeah, everyone
bands,
had
and like raising cancer awareness. I mean, he was so cemented in the.
Well,
Like,
what do you think of him today?
I'm torn. I'm torn.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, Lance.
I think I'm the only person that would give him a thumbs up, only because
Oh.
I was so. I'm so infatuated with the story, right? That it's hard for me to.
No,
disconnect.
it's a good story, but it's
But
villainous.
if anyone said that Lance Armstrong was a dog person, then I would have a hard time justifying it.
And I guess he was dating Sheryl Crow for a while, and Sheryl Crow lived out where I live in like Spring Hill area. I guess he had been seen out there like quite frequently by people. I never saw the guy, but I never seen Sheryl Crow either. So
I'm sure he's a very difficult person to.
he
to
seems like
interact with.
an
Yeah.
asshole. Yeah.
Very demanding.
All right, I'm gonna go next. Now, what I should do is, since John took mine, I should take John's next one because I know what it would be, but I'm above such thing. I've got a better movie than the one you're gonna propose, so I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna try to pick. I'm trying to hit every sport here. So I got a baseball movie out of the way, thank God, because there aren't many more than that. I'm gonna go with Remember the Titans. I love that movie. I can always watch it. It's great. It's Denzel Washington just chewing up the scenery with every scene. It's got the ultimate scene where the refs are racist and they're just throwing flags every play. And the white coach walks up and he goes, "You gonna put those flags away, or I'm expose every one of you boys on the morning paper." I love that guy. I don't know who that actor is. I really
He's
never.
in a lot of stuff.
Is
but
he?
Yeah.
I just never really seen the guy. I know he was in the Bruce Willis movie about the asteroid. Was it Armageddon?
Yeah.
He's in that. But anyway, okay. So I got Remember the Titans, my number 2. John.
What did you think my number 2 was going to be?
Hey, Adrian.
Okay, you'd be right.
Okay.
Wait, you
I was-
mumbled that. I didn't.
Go ahead.
I was actually going back and forth between that one and Raging Bull,
Okay. I got a better one than those two.
and so I struggled with
Which
both
one
of
did you
those.
pick?
He hasn't even said it.
I know.
Rocky.
Rocky.
Rocky's one of those few sports movies where the main person that you're watching all through the movie ends up losing at the end.
Major League, they don't win at the end.
One of.
Oh, okay. I think probably a few of these movies. White Men Can't Jump, they lose at the end.
Probably.
So it's like 50-50 split, huh?
Dodgeball, don't they lose at the end of that one? But then they win. No, they win. They win.
They got
definitely win
disqualified or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, it's a great movie. It's I mean, it brought Sylvester Stallone's career to life.
Yeah.
And so I mean, yeah.
All right. You're up again.
I'm up again.
Oh, here we go. Now his next pick.
Raging Bull.
I don't know what he's gonna pick.
No, I wanted to go to different sports. So my next one, I have to go with.
Come on, John. It's
I'm
not that hard of a choice.
I'm
you got a
torn.
whole list there.
I'm torn.
Just flip a coin, man.
For baseball, I'm torn. I'm gonna just tell you my two choices, and then
Okay.
I'll decide.
This is
Thinking
not
out
how
loud.
definitive Mount
know.
Rushmore is.
No.
I told you there would be shenanigans. I told you.
There's shenanigans. I'm torn between The Sandlot and Moneyball.
Do you want us to pick for you?
No.
That's an easy choice, John. It's Sandlot every time, dude. Like, I'm really. Major League doesn't exist. Sandlot is my number one. So you're going Sandlot.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to go Sandlot. It's one of the greatest movies of all time, dude. As far as like a movie that reminds you of childhood. Like I said about the last.
I mean, the kids lived and breathed baseball.
Yeah. Oh,
And
no, it's
so-
all about. I mean, but The Last Dance reminded me of being a kid. Like it brought me to being a kid. Sandlot reminds me of being a kid as well. So, all right, good movie, Sandlot. All right, so I'm up. Okay, so I've got baseball out of the way. I've got football out of the way. So let's go with a better. Now I'm gonna go with my. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that because I got another football movie. All right, I'm gonna go with a little movie about boxing called The Fighter. You ever seen The Fighter?
I have seen The Fighter.
Fighter is a great movie based on a true story, starring one of my favorite actors,
Christian Bale stole the show in
He's
that
so
movie.
good in that movie, right?
So great.
Oh, he's wonderful. Mark Wahlberg's in it. Amy Adams is in it. It is a fantastic movie. It chronicles it's the movie's about Marky Mark, who's I guess you could say is the A character, and Christian Bale is his brother who's got a bit of an addiction problem. I don't want to spoil it too much when you're watching it, and it's great. And I don't even want to. If you've never seen The Fighter, go watch it. It is fantastic. So, all right, Lee, you're up. You got two to close it out. What you got?
So I kind of wanted to pivot just based upon a comment from the live chat. It's a movie I hadn't thought about until it was
I hadn't
brought
either.
up. And I've got to go Karate Kid.
Yeah,
The Karate Kid.
That's a good one. I would have made my list.
Definitely one of those that you would see on like Saturday morning TVs, and they were showing the commercials, and you sat there and watched it anyway. And, talking about iconic lines, the wax on, the wax off, and everyone thought they knew karate. They're out there.
In, out.
Sweep the knee.
I mean, you've never painted anything in your life
out a body bag.
and didn't think that
So-
you were like practicing karate,
So in fourth grade, I was in school with this one kid who had a bit of money, and he had a video camera back in 85 or 86 or whatever, whenever that would have been. He decided he was going to recreate the Karate Kid movie. And so his best friend was a guy who was Asian. And so he played Mr. Miyagi, and he played Karate Kid, and we all got cast in it. And I was one of the goons.
That's about
That sounds
right.
about right.
Yeah, I was one of the goons.
I mean, you're straight up Johnny. Let's be honest.
I mean, Cobra Kai
wish.
is an awesome sounding goon dojo.
It is,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you could have done worse.
Yeah, so I was the scene I got to film was the scene where they beat him up. they descend with their bikes and beat the crap out of him. So I was in a version of the Karate Kid that was then screened at our school, and everybody seemed to love it. It was a shot for shot remake, so to speak. So there you go. All right, you got one more left.
Okay, I think for the final one, I'm going to have to pick one of my favorite movies of all time, Talladega Nights.
All right.
That is talking about a movie that I could just simply watch whenever. So, like, that's a movie. I saw something the other day. It's like, if someone's going to give you $3 million, could you watch a movie for 48 hours, the same movie, 48 hours? I think I could watch that movie for 48 hours straight. Just a funny movie. If you haven't seen it, then I'm not going to tell you to go watch it because you probably don't deserve to watch it. So, just leave it at that.
I was thinking about saying that one just to steal it from you.
There you go.
I appreciate that.
All right, well, I'm going to go with my last one. And there's just no great... You took the great basketball movie. I mean, what else is there? I mean, Blue Chips, really? You going to put that in your Mount Rushmore? Get that out of here. Hoosiers is it. You bet that basketball is that. So I can't pick a basketball movie. So I'm going to pick a football movie, and I'm torn.
You already picked a football movie.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to do 2 footballs because this is one of my favorite movies. And it shouldn't be. It's not really a great movie, but there are some great lines in it. I could go with Rudy, but get that out of here. It's too sentimental. I don't want to cry. I want to be entertained. I want to be on that team. I want to be rocking and rolling. I want someone's dad to call me a gangbanger with speed. I want to be a guy that dopes up, starts smashing windows with his car, with his head, dude, going, I made the team, first team, baby. I'm talking about
way down in the highway.
Yes, I'm talking about Program, baby, and you know it's a great movie.
It's such a bad movie.
Oh, no. It's so bad it's good. I will defend the Program forever. I can literally still quote, let's put the women and children to bed and let's go hunting for supper. Come on, baby. The Program is it, baby. That may be, honestly, one of the greatest football movies of all time. It addresses stereotypes, it addresses alcoholism, steroid use. Dude, it's such a wild ride, and a lot of people have never seen it, which is crazy. But as far as a pure sports movie, I don't think any of that movie is not about sports. Like, there may be one scene between Omar Epps and like the girl's dad she's dating. The rest of that movie, it's all football. It's great. So I'm going to round mine out with the Program. John, what are you going to close your list out with?
Did you have 4?
I had 4, yeah. I'll read them all off in a second.
I know what I have to do.
Yeah, okay.
But if I didn't have to do that, it would have been The Wrestler.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
But
Lee would disagree, but
what I have to do, well, you need to see
Knight's Tale. Here we go.
A Knight's Tale.
Oh, John, this is a travesty. What are you doing?
It made my list. My short list.
This is shenanigans. I told you this list would be ruined. You have a list of great movies on there. Okay, I'm gonna
look. If you don't think jousting is a movie, then how can you think dodgeball? I mean, if you don't think jousting is a sport, how could you think dodgeball is a sport?
It's a better sport than jousting. I mean, I can go outside right now and play dodgeball.
How is White Men Can't Jump is really a sports movie? It's about, asphalt basketball.
But that's the basketball we can play. That's a true sport. Like John was saying before the show started.
So is jousting.
We can't joust. We can't joust, brother.
We could.
We can.
People joust all
you got
the
a
time.
horse.
We've
On
had
bicycles.
viewers that say they want us to joust.
On bicycles. Have you ever in your life, either of you, jousted for real on bicycles?
I pulled jousted on noodles on someone's shoulders.
There you go.
John, have you ever...
And I daydreamed I was on a horse while I did it.
John, have you ever jousted...
To a Queen song.
You're to be
to
quiet.
a Queen
You're
song.
to remain silent as you were earlier. John, have you ever jousted a day of your life?
No.
No. Okay. I haven't either. So the majority of people...
I haven't been in a karate tournament in my life either.
But you took karate.
No, I took taekwondo.
Have you ever
That's
seen...
a completely different skill
Have
set.
you ever seen jousting before?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
It doesn't mean I've done it.
But... So I've never played collegiate football before.
But you played backyard football.
That's a little different than the program.
We almost won a championship of flag football, my friend. Me and you.
Okay, to put me in that category of we is a misnomer. Okay.
Were you not on the team? Me and you were the only touchdown against the water department when I was at the police department. This was a metro-wide tournament. Me and Lee single-handedly beat the water department.
I'm just going to say jousting is a sport. I don't understand why you think it's not. It's silly to say it's not.
It's why.
What else are you going to preclude from sports like
how many
lacrosse?
times have you... Well, no, I know you've been golfing before.
I have been golfing before. Thank you.
That was an excuse to drink, though. That wasn't really golfing.
No, but that's what golf is.
Have you ever played lacrosse?
No.
Is lacrosse a sport?
There's no lacrosse movie, so no, I would not count that.
So now sport is
no,
only
for the Mount Rushmore.
movie.
For the Mount Rushmore, flag football doesn't count. Get out of here. Okay, let's
just do some honorable mentions.
Let's do some honorable mentions. I had Rudy and Bull Durham, and then all the rest of my life.
They're just so simple.
Bull Durham's a great movie,
but it's like so expected,
and it's really about baseball. I mean, that's what like a lot of people say Field of Dreams, but to me, Field of Dreams is more about
the relationship between the guy and his father.
Father issues. I should love it, but it's less about baseball. Bull Durham is about baseball. Okay, so what else? What do you got on yours, John?
Honorable mentions: Chariots of Fire.
Come on, you've never seen that, John.
I've got it on my
He loves it.
DVR. I watch it over and over again.
over and over again.
Explain to people. Yes, we all know the stupid song. Explain to everybody what Chariots of Fire is about.
Chariots of Fire is about Olympic Games and the The two Englishmen that are going up against it. One's a devout Jew and one's a devout Christian.
I watch it all the time.
Watch it all the time.
Ask my wife when I get home.
Ask my wife in the chat. Ask her if it's not on the DVR.
That is one of the oldest man things you've ever said in your life. Let's fire up that Chariots of Fire.
Put on fire.
Baby. That's a slog of a movie to watch. Probably
I'm in a mood.
How long is the movie? Like 3 hours long?
It's pretty long.
Oh my God, John.
Let's run it again. Goes off. Run it again.
48 hours.
Okay, John. It's a devout Jew, a devout Christian already is this recipe for success, and
they're both on the Olympic squad.
okay.
So,
All right.
other ones at 42.
Okay. Baseball movie.
Yeah. I mean, some of the
Just
ones
read
you
them,
said.
man. Even if they're embarrassing.
Hoosiers, the program, Rocky, Raging Bull, The Wrestler, The Sandlot,
Well,
Blue
man,
Chips.
Read the ones you haven't mentioned.
That's what I'm saying. Happy Gilmore,
Oh, we didn't list Happy Gilmore.
Legend of Bagger Vance.
Oh, I forgot. I thought you listed it.
Didn't make the cut.
Oh, I would have listed that, man. Nah,
You had your
my
chance.
list
One would
is-
have taken its
No,
place.
I wouldn't have listed it. I love Happy Gilmore, but as a comedy. Okay, I'm gonna run down our list.
We can
I
almost.
got some honorable mentions.
Okay, go ahead.
So I had a Space Jam, which was also suggested by Brepo on Twitter, which I
Yeah.
thought was a good
Breeze in the chat right now.
one. Cliffhanger, which there was some debate on whether that was a sports movie or not.
Let me peel the curtain back. Let me peel Adam John to call Rocky. Lee didn't even have a list when this podcast started. Me and
I
John
had a list in my head.
John, do you have a list before the show started?
Lee,
Yes.
you mean like the Unabomber over here?
Yeah,
No,
he
he did not.
He'd have a list. He said, "Give me some names."
It was a test. Okay, y'all all failed.
Okay, go ahead with your.
Oh, we
also-
failed. We gave you half of your answer.
No, you didn't. Over the top, which was
Where did you get White Men Can't Jump from? Did you look in my notebook?
I told you I had a list in my head. I was just seeing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and this one you did give me, which I appreciate, and
Okay.
I did like The Wizard.
I gave you Cliffhanger too.
The Wizard.
The Wizards are good. Okay, I'm gonna run down all our lists. Here we go. John had Hoosiers, Rocky, Sandlot, Knight's Tale. I had Major League, Remember the Titans, Fighter, Program, and Lee had White Men Can't Jump, Dodgeball, Karate Kid, Talladega Nights. So I think it's a pretty good list minus Knight's Tale. But anyway, I think we did good. I think it's a very solid list. And so we, as we do with all the Mount Rushmores, we will put this out on let us know. You can let us know in the chat who has the best list or whose list you like the best. And we'll put up on social media. And we want you to let us know whose list you identify the most. And, Hoosiers, obviously the number one pick.
No, not even close.
Yeah, I mean, if two of us say yes.
Yeah. It was two of our number one picks.
Y'all are canceled.
Okay, well, let's go. All right.
That comes from the guy with Space Jam on his list.
Didn't make my list.
It's a popular one online. A lot of people mention it. I think people that don't like sports mention it. And actually,
That makes sense.
Kent of up on Next Door, his podcast, said if we would have put Rudy on our list, he would have unsubscribed from the podcast. He hates Rudy that much.
Wow.
I know
That's bold, especially for someone that's into sports.
I know. I thought so. What I say about Space Jam is I think most people that don't like sports like Space Jam. I watched Space Jam recently. Dude, that movie is dumb. Obviously, I mean, but I mean, even the plot's dumb. It's like Michael Jordan.
It's a Michael Jordan commercial.
He's like, yo, I'm suck at baseball. I'm gonna go back and play basketball. I'm like, dude, you're signing off on admitting this? It was very weird. But
I think the only movie that I would have really contested was the one with the dog playing baseball.
Air Bud.
Air Bud.
That's a sports movie, brother.
They actually made a sequel for that movie.
There's so many.
No, there's more than one or
They
two.
had like all the puppies.
They even got Air Bud in space.
Hockey, football, baseball, basketball.
Just took an idea
That
and
dog
ran
was
with it.
talented. How dare you run him down? Air
Wasn't on
Bud's
your
the
list.
goat.
Wasn't
man.
even on your
way
honorable
down.
mention.
All right. Well, there we go. That was
I think
sports.
with a list like this, we could have done so many different categories.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have done like sports comedies. I mean,
Football movies,
bioepics.
basketball
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
hockey movies.
So,
I mean, Little
Movies
Giants.
about hockey players that become ice skaters.
Yeah.
Could have been a category of its own.
Oh, what's that one you're thinking about? It's that
Cutting Edge.
Yeah, Cutting
Edge, Blades of Glory.
There's like DB Sweeney.
DB Sweeney. Dude, I've never seen that movie, but I've literally seen like parts of it. It's always on TV for some reason. It looks so terrible. What
it's
happened?
actually a pretty good movie.
What happened to that guy?
It's got an arc to it. You
The
know?
last movie I remember him being in was Spawn.
Oh,
That was a while ago.
It's
that's
a career
bad.
ender.
all right. Well, there we go. Sports movie Mount Rushmore. All right. Well, what's going on in the world? We used to talk about the world. Well,
You wanted to talk about something.
so I guess we've decided now, and we've talked about this on past episodes, that the Confederate flag has got to go. So it's been banned from the armed forces. I believe the Navy or the Air Force is saying, no, you can't have that on any of our bases or anything. But the big one, NASCAR came out and said, no, it's no longer allowed. Now that's a bold move, brother. I mean, that is like saying,
I know. I saw it the other day and I said, wait, NASCAR's getting rid of the Confederate flag? This shit's real. This shit got real.
change is happening.
Change is here.
I'm drinking a Mountain Dew right now. If they got rid of Mountain Dew, the fan base is gone. So, anyways, a lot of the drivers, I guess, are behind it. But this one guy came out today and pretty much said, "I'm out. I quit." Like, can you explain the logic there?
It's just
Like,
a really odd hill to die on, for sure.
it is a really hill. Yeah, I mean, what is the thought process there?
I don't know. I mean, I was born in New York,
Okay.
so you couldn't get more further away from the South much. But even like you guys, I mean, I would constantly make fun of people who have used the slogan "The South will rise again." I mean, and so I don't understand the gravity of people latching on to that symbol.
I don't either.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's a symbol of racism at the end of the day,
Well,
right?
straight up, no.
That's
But
what I mean.
If you were to ask them, that it's the phrase "heritage, not hate" is a common one, right?
But-
which is a misnomer. We all realize
Yes.
that it's a threat against their cultural identity, right?
Which is racism.
Which they see themselves as a superior people at the end of the day, right?
I wish someone on this podcast believed that, where I could seriously have a serious conversation about
I know
it.
you're not going to have a serious
That's like
conversation.
me walking around wearing Mussolini T-shirts. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
true. I
not-
mean, it's weird. I mean, and so I guess so an argument I can get behind. I can't get behind heritage, not hate. That's stupid. I mean, if you're going to sit here and act like we were talking about this before the show, Civil War wasn't about slavery, you're a fool. Okay, obviously it was. But a lot of people are upset that we're removed. So now they're starting to topple the statues, the Confederate statues. Thank God. I mean, these things should have went a long time ago. And I'm not saying it because it's stupid. It makes no sense to me why there's a bust of Nathan Bedford Forrest in the state capitol. I don't understand it.
I mean, you know why it's there.
Well, yeah, because yes, I get it, but here's what I understand. So if we're gonna say Forrest was a racist, and I think that's pretty much standard talk right there. I mean, I don't know new people, and there are some, but not a lot of people can say no, that's not true. I mean, most
He
people
was
say,
a known early
Yes.
founding member of the Ku Klux Klan.
but on his deathbed, he asked for forgiveness.
Yeah, I know. There's a whole story arc. If you believe that he later came out and was, pro rights
Yeah.
and stuff, doesn't take away.
But-
Still a very controversial figure,
But,
regardless.
yes, if we go down the rabbit hole, so then people will be like, yo, but what about Thomas Jefferson? What about Alexander
Abraham
Hamilton?
Lincoln.
What about, so Abraham Lincoln, as I was telling you guys earlier, actually was going to allow the South to keep slavery if it meant not going to war. Now, a lot of people say he changed a lot over the course of the war and he saw, more people involved, and that's good. I mean, you always want to be open to changing your mind. But do we have to take down statues of Polk, or Andrew Jackson, who was a known racist? I mean, like, where does it end is the question most people ask. And we can have that conversation. I think that's a fair. I don't have the answers. I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, you're going to say Washington had slaves, right? I mean, I know Thomas Jefferson did, so we'll stick with Thomas Jefferson.
I think Washington did have slaves.
Okay.
I think the only few really founding fathers that didn't. You're looking at John Adams, John Quincy Adams. They didn't have slaves.
So the dorky looking guys. Like, those dudes all look like dorks, but the Adams, you're like, oh, bro.
Is that your Trump defense all of a sudden?
They do look kind of goofy, man. I mean, like, Benjamin Franklin kind of looks like a nerd, man. I mean,
Benjamin Franklin probably was a nerd.
Did he have
I
slaves?
mean,
Probably.
I don't know if he did or not.
I don't know they did. I don't know. But it's saying, can we have a statue of Thomas Jefferson out? He's on the Mount Rushmore. Do we need to take him down? Him and Washington are on the Mount Rushmore.
I mean, Mount Rushmore is very controversial to begin with anyway.
Why?
Because they took a beautiful mountain and carved people's face into it.
Yeah, and they made something we can talk about on the podcast all the
we
time.
can
So it
even
works out. I mean,
we can go even further back and say how those founding fathers laid down the foundation of stealing the land from the Americans and from the Native Americans and their beautiful mountains
Right.
that supposedly stand as a symbol for like nature, and then carved old white men into it. So that's why it's controversial.
Okay.
So that's one question I would have is like, what is the purpose of any of these statues? Be it southern or northern or somewhere in between, like why do these statues? Why do we have old men on our money to begin with? For that matter?
I mean, because the old men are the ones making the decisions. But I would say,
okay, but outside the obvious, like why?
Well, no,
like,
but that's why. I mean, it's never been changed because the old white men are still in charge.
I think when it comes to what gets toppled and what doesn't, I think the final decision comes down to what that person's mostly known for.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking today. Put it on a scale. So you got a scale. You got to go, okay, Thomas Jefferson. All right, he had slaves. That's bad. So we're going bad. But he did help found the country, and he did have a lot of great ideas. I think the totality of what they stood for, and predominantly what they stood for.
I mean, he doubled the size of the country with the Louisiana Purchase.
Right.
So, I mean...
But I mean, at the end of the day, you could go find a statue of a Confederate general that probably was a decent person. He was just a Confederate general, right?
Brother.
And so you still have to take that down.
I say when you lose the war, you lose the right to have your statues up.
But
that
here's
should
my
be the
point.
way it is, man.
There's no winners in war. Why is there
No, there was a
statue?
winner because
There-
Lincoln said in a speech, he said, this either goes one way or it goes the other way. And in the issue of slavery, there are winners in that war. The winners were, we don't have slavery anymore.
This is my point.
But you admit that's winning.
This is my point, though. When I say there's no winners, we're still, to this day, talking about the North and the South Civil War.
Easy wild thing.
Right? Like
Talk about winning.
Like we as a people, even then, couldn't come together and figure this out in a way that was fair to everyone, including minority people that were enslaved. We couldn't free
Brother,
them
do you think
without going to
no
violence.
one could have fixed that at the time, Lee? But here's the other thing we have with this cancel culture thing is we're judging everyone where we're at today with the self-knowledge, the self-awareness that we have today. Now, let's keep it real here. Us three lived in the South in the Civil War period. We would have supported slavery. There weren't a lot of dudes walking.
No, there were people in the South that did not
Not a
support
lot.
slavery.
Not a lot,
There was
brother.
a whole underground railroad that slaves
Brother,
were hiding
you don't
in their
even
basement.
march at the Black Lives Matter
I'm just
protest. You're going to be
saying.
running the underground slave network? Give me a break
I'm
here.
just saying that there were people.
I'm saying.
I agree with Lee. I think there were more people that were against slavery,
No.
but I believe that they were not willing to stand up and do anything about it.
So they're just as bad.
Also, there was a
We
lot.
talked about if you know it's going down and you're not doing nothing, you're as guilty as the person. It's no different than George Floyd getting choked out. That officer choked him. The three stood there. They let him get choked. They're guilty as well.
How far
They're
do you
culpable.
go? Then you're culpable of it. We should put you in jail for it.
I wasn't
For
there.
not but still,
What do you mean
can
I
go-
wasn't there?
You can go down the chain, and we'll eventually get to you.
No.
By that,
With George Floyd, that's a
you-
Trump conspiracy tweet right there,
you
man.
you paid money. You went and got criminal justice classes. You were
Yeah.
actively
What's that
supporting.
got to do?
You worked in the police department for years.
Yes.
You could have standed up for the injustice closer than
I
anyone
did. I talked
else.
about it last week. I was the voice of the people when I worked there. They called me an advocate for the people. They hated me.
Culpable.
You're culpable.
We're all culpable.
I'm just saying if the average
That's not
person.
why they hated you.
No one wants to think this. If the average person lived in Germany during Nazi times, you would have supported Hitler. And if you lived in the South during the time, not now, during the time, your mindset would have been different about it. Maybe you wouldn't have said, yo, I love slavery, but you wouldn't have said, you would have been like, well, it's got to happen, man. They got to get those fields worked. I'm telling you. We can all sit here with foresight, with the knowledge of, oh yeah, man.
What's your point in saying all this?
I'm just
though?
saying we got.
I mean, we can't say one way or the other for sure. But
So we
like,
got to judge Jefferson on what we can judge him on. You know.
is this all coming down? Do we tear down Thomas Jefferson's statue?
I hope not. I love Tommy J.
I say tear down all the statues. I don't know why we need statues of old dead people.
No
okay?
one.
No, like why? Tell me, what is the point of a
Dude,
statue?
I say keep some statues.
What is the point then? Tell me, why do we need these statues?
Because now in today's society, all we have now is pop culture, and that sucks.
History, Lee.
Okay,
History.
so we could have monuments to history.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vietnam War Memorial doesn't have
Tear it down.
a statue of someone on
Yes,
it.
it does.
It's a statue. It's a statue
I
of
thought
names.
it was just a wall.
Oh, I'm sorry. The one down in Nashville has 3 soldiers.
Oh,
on
I
the
was talking
statue.
about the
So
famous
tear it
one in
down. No, tear it
Washington.
down. So tear down the soldiers.
Tear it down.
Lee, that's asinine. It's ridiculous.
So what? How do you think the Vietnamese people feel about it?
I mean, they're probably not big fans of it. I mean, I would imagine, but they've probably got stuff over there we're not big fans of. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm
It's
not
just
in
like
their culture.
it's just like the Mount Rushmore. Like, where do we feel justified in? Not only a statue is
I'm
pretty
fine with
immutable, but we took a mountain and carved our founding fathers on the side.
I don't have a problem. Do you have a problem with Mount Rushmore, John?
I don't have a problem.
What is your problem with
It
Mount
just seems
Rushmore?
odd. Like, where do we stop? Do we get a laser and carve Donald Trump's face into the moon?
Then I'd have a problem with that.
Well, as much as you hate to say it, if we're gonna have statues of Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, Lincoln, right? Okay, Mount Rushmore. Then I guess Trump gets a statue one day. I
Okay,
mean, I hate
but-
to say that, but
so,
it's
like-
got to be.
It's like the Statue of Liberty is a good statue because it's
Tear it down.
nobody. There's no one
Tear it
involved.
down.
There's no one.
Nope,
though.
tear it down.
There's no controversy.
Tear it down. Tear down the damn statues. You heard it from Lee. Tear down the Jordan statue at Chicago Arena. Tear down all sports statues, everything. So no monuments or anything.
I didn't say no.
Washington
monuments.
Monument, gone. Lincoln Memorial, gone.
Is it a statue of a person?
Oh,
Yes.
it's Lincoln on a chair,
sitting on
dude.
a
What are you
chair.
talking about? Have you seen Planet
There's a
of the Apes?
Jefferson Memorial.
Yep. So tear down the Lincoln Memorial.
Why not?
Oh, holy hell, dude! Come on.
I mean, if we're gonna be tearing down everything, I can't be choosy at that point, right?
Okay. The other thing that happened is that Gone with the Wind is being pulled from HBO Max. Now, my biggest thing is good because it's a crappy movie anyway, but they're pulling it down because they say it presents slavery in a pro manner. I mean, my thought of that is if you go watch Gone with the Wind, you know it's set in a Civil War and it was filmed in what, the 1930s, late 30s, early 40s, something like that. What do you expect? Are we really starting to pull movies now?
I mean,
we're pulling movies now.
I mean, yeah, we've been pulling movies. I saw a movie.
Song of the South.
No, it was Holiday Inn that had an entire blackface scene in it.
Look, if you don't want to watch the damn movies, don't watch them. But you can't start censoring art because you don't like the message. I mean, I'm sorry, but
that's
come
a
on.
prelude to Fahrenheit 451.
I did see a tweet the other day, which is probably my first problem being on Twitter, but
Yeah, that's true.
there was a person that said in reference to like books about slavery and stuff, like Gone with the Wind and stuff, his little tweet was burn the books, like retweet, burn the books. I'm like, wait a second. Did you skip Fahrenheit 451 in school? Like, you're right. Like, to some degree, when does the goodness become the evil? When does the table turn and all of a sudden you've become the enemy that you were fighting?
Yes. I mean, Mein Kampf is out there. If you want to read it, go read the damn book, okay? We're not saying it's a lesson for your guy life, but sometimes you need to read the shit that happened to realize how bad it was. If we start erasing all the shit now statues of Confederate soldiers, personally, my personal opinion, I don't like the Confederacy. I don't like that damn flag. I don't like any of that shit. So to me personally, I say get rid of it.
That's
okay?
the difference is like when you edify, if you were to edify Mein Kampf, that would be bad. But if you store it away in a place for historical record, like the history of these people, that's fine. But we're putting it into a place of prominence and going, these are our heroes, right?
And
I it's crazy that's still there.
But I think if the majority of the people at the time say, take it down, then that's the country we live in. And you should maybe say, hey, I'm talking a majority, like 2/3 of the majority come together and go, man, we don't like this statue. It's kind of bumming us out, man, because, you know, it's tied to Jim Crow laws and it was a tactic to not get black people to show up to vote. Maybe we put it in a museum somewhere.
Don't even put it in a museum.
Well, I don't have a
Throw
problem
it in
putting
the river.
Well, I mean, that's fine too. But I think we need sometimes to remember how shitty we are as humans or how shitty we were where we don't repeat history.
Yeah.
If you don't know history, you're going to repeat the same thing, you know. And you know Hitler. You
So-
know that
so-
situation because it's talked about in their world. They wouldn't. We can't talk about Hitler anymore. You can't talk. Like the Jewish people took those institutions and set them up in museums and said, "Hey, this is where bad stuff happened. Come look at it. This is a Holocaust remembrance. No different than 9/11. Come look at it. This is what happened. We're not going to hide it." That's how I look at it.
So what do you do in a situation where an overwhelming majority says remove the bust, and your politicians say, no, your elected officials in democracy that you've voted in to maintain, to represent the people say, nah, we're going to leave it there. What situations do we have at that
Vote
point?
them out.
That person
That's
doesn't
it?
get voted back in. That's how
That's
it
it.
works.
Brother, unless you're going to be if you're willing to cross lines, be a criminal
That's
and do
kind
it
of messed up.
yourself.
That's kind of messed up, though, that we live in a world where especially with, it's such an antiquated idea, these long polling cycles where these people get voted in and there's such an overwhelming majority, and it's like we can't even get a vote for it. We can't even get a referendum. Like, what's going on?
Well, if you want to go back to the sports analogy, I think in that instance, it's like you can't fire a head coach after one season, man. I mean, you got to give these,
It's a different position, though.
But you
That's
get
a
your
bad
point.
analogy.
And
No.
if it depends. If they say no, we're not going to move it,
well,
and it's pretty much overwhelming of the people that they want it moved, that's one thing. But if he says, well, hold on, let's put a pin in that and we'll get back to it.
Let's be a
that's different.
politician.
Well, that's what Bill Lee keeps saying. He goes, well, this has been over a year. This has been happening. More than that. Me and
we
Corey
talked about it on the podcast.
Me and Corey used to talk about it on my old podcast. That
I'm
was
not saying
years
it's
ago.
specific. I'm saying that would be the difference in those two analogies.
Bill Lee is a wimp who won't make a decision. He's the governor of Tennessee, and he is a wimp. Just call it. He won't say it because he knows he'll lose the votes when it comes time to get voted. That's the problem with living somewhere like the South. You can't say, yo, I'm going to get rid of it.
Bill Lee is he's a businessman first, and then a governor
And
second.
a spineless governor second. Good to know. All right. Well, I guess are we going to do a Dear John this week?
Do you want to?
All right. Do you want to, John? Are you
This
canceling?
is a spicy.
Cancel
It's a
culture?
spicy one.
Oh boy, here we go. It's time
It's a spicy
for
one.
the segment we like to call Dear John.
Dear John, dear John. What a smooth voice right there. By the time you read these lines, I'll be gone. The harmony.
All
on
right,
this
it's
is-
time for, you've heard it before, John.
No, Lee was singing harmony on it.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Anyways, okay. We got a Dear John. Someone has written in with a question. Lee said it's a spicy take, so Lee, read it, and here we go.
This one comes in. Dear John, my 21-year-old daughter has a 6-month-old child. The father is a 36-year-old man who is recently deported to Mexico. He continues to contact her and wants her to travel to Mexico to visit him. I am terrified of all the things that could happen to her if she goes. I don't trust him. I keep thinking, will he try to keep the baby? Will he try to keep them both or entice her to do something illegal? He had an earlier felony conviction. Am I overreacting? How can I get her to recognize that these type of things happen all the time from afraid mother?
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if we have enough time for Dear John this week.
Hit the outro music. John.
I mean,
this is your
this letter reads like, I mean, at first I'm wanting to like lash out at the writer, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, and then I start thinking about, I mean, he was deported, okay.
Oh my God.
Whew.
It's taking a turn to the left.
It really depends on why that deportation happened. I mean,
What
if
does
he-
it matter,
Probably
John?
because he wasn't a citizen, I would assume.
If that's the only reason and he wants to see his family, then that's fine. But if he's deported because he was doing bad things,
So if you
that to me, that's the line in the sand, really.
so if you were
First off, I don't think people get deported to Mexico for doing bad things.
They go to
and then
prison.
Just walk the streets.
I think they
but
go
I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't know,
I'm assuming like they turned them over to the authorities.
but I mean, that's I just if he was just trying to make a living and he happened to be here and he just wasn't a citizen, then that's not really a horrible thing to do. And as much as I love my wife and my kids, I mean, I can't blame him for wanting to see his wife, his kid.
So what if your wife got convicted of a felony, went to prison, and then wanted to come back into your child's life? You're saying you'd be like, nah, dude, you good?
Well, he would probably
No,
support her
it's
through.
different, but I wouldn't move my kid and myself just to be near her. after she did something that would
No, they're
keep
not,
her away
no,
from
they
us.
want to. They just want to travel there. They're not moving there for good.
Well, she said she's worried about him wanting to move them there.
Well, that's racist. This woman is a racist, John. You had a chance to
That's
call
what
this
I'm
woman out
saying.
from the studio. You should have said you're a racist writer. You're like literally like, well, first I want to go against the writer, but then I'm like, yo, man, you might be right. Like this thing is a Donald Trump email. Listen to all this stuff here. Father's 30-year-old man, recent report to Mexico. Okay. He continues to contact her. Oh, what a scumbag. He's contacting his mother and the child. Wants her to travel to Mexico. Well, that's where he lives. What other options are there? There's the
Will
part.
he try to keep the
I
baby?
don't trust him, period. I keep thinking.
What if he does something illegal?
Yes, he had an conviction. This happens all the time. No, this doesn't happen all the time. This isn't a Michael Bay movie. They don't kidnap mother. This is stupid, man.
This is stupid.
This is a racist. This is racism where I don't think the person knows they're racist. That's the problem here. If you ask this person, the afraid mother, are you a racist? Babe? Nah, I'm not a racist. No, you are. You're associating all negative things that Trump has said about people from Mexico, people that have been deported. Like Lee said, just because you get deported doesn't mean you did something badly. You'd be in prison. Like if he murdered someone or kidnapped someone or raped someone, he would be in the slammer somewhere. I don't know.
His only crime was falling in love and having a child.
There you go, man. It's tale as old as time.
You can't do that stuff in America anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Love and sex off
So,
the
John,
agenda.
But yeah.
Let's get to the point. What do you advise forget the mother. What do you advise the mother of this man's the daughter?
She wasn't the one writing in, but
she needs the advice.
It's out
obviously.
to. I mean, it boils down to the daughter and / mother of this child, is that she needs to. She knows the man better than her mother, so it's none of her business really. So writer, it's none of your damn business.
And I think a 21-year-old daughter, I'm terrified of all the things that can happen to her. Then do you let her leave the house? Have you been around
She
society?
wasn't that afraid of, otherwise she wouldn't have gotten pregnant in the first place.
Oh.
Just saying.
hot take.
All right, so what?
If you were that worried, you should have been worried earlier, not now.
What's wrong with a 21-year-old woman having a child? Where's the sin in that?
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying. I mean, it happens all the time. I don't.
Well, she had a child. That means that, and he's deported. That means that it was at the very least, over 9 months before that. And so, I mean, it sounds like he already knows the child, so it's probably even further.
So it's just a problem with sex out of wedlock. Is that what we're getting at?
I mean, there's a big age
Can we
difference
tear
between
down that?
21
Can we
and
tear down
what's
that
the
statue?
30 some odd.
Is that a
How old is
statue
he?
that we can tear down? Is that okay?
How old
and
is
stop
the guy?
pretending that that's a thing?
30. How old was he?
9 years difference. Who cares, John? She's legal age. She's 21. He's 30. Who cares? Why does that matter?
What if the kid's 4 years old? Then he.
It's a 6-month-old
Wait,
kid.
why does it matter if the kid's 6
Oh,
months
6
old?
months. Okay, I didn't see that part.
John, you're
All
like a dog treading
I'm
water
just
right
saying.
now.
No,
You're trying to find an excuse.
no. Here's what I'm saying: is if the mom is upset about her going to Mexico, then she probably could have done something to prevent this. In the first place.
How? Please enlighten us.
I don't know.
No.
If she's
What
that
is the
involved,
problem?
No.
I don't. I'm bashing the writer.
No, too late.
Why
now.
would the mom want to stop?
How could the mother have stopped her from meeting this man? I got to hear this story. So when your daughter's 20, 21,
It sounds like the daughter is still living with her.
why does it matter? She's 21.
It'd be a lot easier to prevent something.
So if
to
you have a
happen than-
21-year-old daughter, you're going to be putting the locks down on her, controlling her life, telling her who she can see,
me
who
too.
she cannot see,
Me too.
when she can have sex,
I'm not
when
racist.
she cannot have sex.
No, are you going to lock your 21-year-old daughter down if she lives with you? That's the question. We're not with a person from Mexico. Anybody.
I mean, there's not going to be anybody spending the night.
I heard
if that's
yes.
what you
I heard
mean.
yes from that. I don't know
If
you
that's
did.
your definition of locking them down, then yeah.
No,
But-
locking down is having a child. How are you going to stop him from having a child? You can't stop your 21-year-old daughter from having sex with men. Are you crazy, man? How is that possible?
Not in my house. You're not leaving my house.
In the driveway in your car, that's cool, but not in my house. I don't know, John.
You ain't got a leg to stand on, John.
All right, so basically what's your advice is in this?
Mind your own business. Let it be up to your daughter, because it ultimately is up to your daughter.
All right, there you guys, Dear John. That was a spicy meatball. All right, thank you so much for hanging out, enjoying the podcast, and just some closing thoughts from Adam Pewitt in the chat. Serious question about the flag. If this is for heritage, not hate, why don't those same people clasp onto the 13-star flag that our nation used when we fought for independence against England? There you go. So
You don't ever see one of those.
No, you know, for sure. Anyway, a lot of there. We got the sports Mount Rushmore. A lot of talk about cancel culture and censorship, and it's an involving conversation. So let us know what you think about it, and you can do that. Well, if you go to our website, bybpod.com. We've got all of our links up there, all of our past episodes. And if you want to sue us and throw a lawsuit on us, hey, go to the website. There's a contact form.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it, because, Inside Baseball, apparently there's a lawsuit against us. So whatever. Anyways, you get all of our social media links there. Grab the podcast, spend money on Amazon, buy our T-shirts. The T-shirts are awesome. J-Rob, our buddy, got a few this week, so we're living large on the T-shirt sales. And you can email the show right there if you want to do that. If you want to ask John here a question, Dear John. If you want to just, tell us how much we suck or anything, whatever, you can do that. And send a voicemail. So bybpod.com, rate, review, subscribe. Tell all your friends about the podcast. And with all that being said, Lee, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
There's no crying in baseball.